On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, Made in Abyss Season 2, Episode 1, The Compass Pointed into Darkness, and Episode 2, Capital of the Unreturned. Now, I know I'm a little late to the party, and I do apologize, but even being the badass motherfucker I am, I cannot control the weather. Even so, I was beyond looking forward to this season. Yes, the return of Made in Abyss. It has been over 2 years since the release of Dawn of the Deep Soul, the canonical movie that took place between Season 1 and Season 2, which saw Riko, Reg, and Nanachi come face to face with the White Whistle Bondrewd, also known as the Sovereign of Dawn, and the one responsible for turning Midi and Nanachi into Narihara, aka Hollows. And even after the duo escaped, it seems his child experimentations continued, as we witness him using his very own adoptive daughter in an attempt to circumvent the Six Layers curse, vivisecting Prushka and shoving her innards into a cartridge. A truly horrific man who gives Shao Tucker a run for his money, but it's because of this series of unfortunate events that allows Riko's party to carry on. See, in what was such a short time, Riko and Prushka had formed a bond, but what was yet to be discovered was how truly strong that bond was. See, in the midst of receiving the Six Layers curse, Prushka's will, her desire to adventure with Riko and the others, was so strong that instead of becoming another one of Bondrewd's monstrous victims, she had transformed into the light reverberating stone, a necessary component for moving forward. Prushka had become Riko's White Whistle, and thus they can finally travel down to the Sixth Layer. And this is where Season 2 picks up. Well, kind of. We're actually hit with a flashback set in an undetermined time, at least between the 1900 years ago where the Abyss was discovered and before the city of Orth was established. We follow the group Ganja, a group of outcasts with the singular goal of discovering the Golden City. Yes, rumor has it that this utopia exists on the Sixth Layer. And with this, we're introduced to a new cast of characters. Wazukine, the leader, Bailoff, seemingly his right-hand man, and Veiko, who seems to be the primary focus so far, as we're given a much greater glimpse into her backstory compared to the others. Now, it wouldn't be Made in Abyss if there wasn't some kind of totally horrific or despicable action taking place, and I honestly assume that they would at least give us the first couple episodes before they go to what I can only describe as fucking hardcore. Yes, Season 2 starts off with our main character Veiko being raped and tortured. I mean, those actions by themselves are just fucking beyond despicable. They're horrific, honestly. It's fucking gruesome. But of course, this series has to take it to the next fucking level because they're actually happening to a child, presumably to create some kind of continuity in the story. I'm assuming she is the same age as Riko. But yeah, not only does she go through this completely traumatic events, the series directly indicates that this will be following her for some time. Now, whether she was sold or she escaped the mongoloid that was responsible for all her torment, she eventually makes it to Ganja and eventually gets into the main crew, the one that actually survives. But even doing so, you can tell that she has this warped sense of mentality now due to her captor, the echoing voice of this pedophile. This feeling of uselessness will only be cured by entering the Golden City. I mean, her view is so fucking twisted that when it comes to this girl from the native tribe, once they make it to the island, with the rest of Ganja willing to throw her way like her own tribe was planning on doing, the first thing that came to Veiko's mind was, look how supple her body is. I have such sympathy for these two girls already. And this was just the first fucking episode of this season. My God. And yet we carry on. Now, like I said previous, they ran into the local tribe of this island, coming to the Abyss. Like I said, the town of Orth has not formed yet, but there are inhabitants, presumably non-natives of this island, people that found their way there, but they are speaking a different language. So it's weird to say whether they're actually from the abyss, from the island, or from the outside. They're not giving us a lot of information to go on, and even if they did, they're in a language I don't fucking understand. Now, Ganja doesn't seem to be the first group that these inhabitants has interacted with. In fact, they are hostile at the very beginning because the groups before them seem to have come with violence in mind, or at least left a despicable impression on these natives. Now, what's interesting and what turned the tide of the conversation to allow, Ganja to go down into the abyss was once again Valko. Now, she was in possession, partly due to her, I hate saying this, rapist of the Star Compass. Yes, the thing that was in both the openings that Rico was in possession of, but it looks like this is trying to create some kind of connection between this group and Rico's group. But when the head of the natives saw this hanging around Valko's neck, they considered it a priceless treasure, and in trading so, they were given safe passage, to start their journey. I just like the continuity of this seemingly innocuous thing that Rico lost. Like, was it level 1 or was it level 2? Yeah, very early on in her journey, to see that come back into play. And actually the only reason that Valko was taken into Ganja in the first place because she came to the group with the Star Compass. Oh, you're the one of the 3 sages. Like, that's pretty badass. And like I said, once they began their journey, they eventually noticed they had a nice little tag along with one of the tribal girls who was presumably beaten and was also going to be thrown away due to her infertility. Yes, she wasn't able to produce offspring, so she was also deemed useless, and that's where Valko stepped up first and, hey, look how supple she is, and she might be a good guide, she knows about the abyss. And what we witnessed in the latter half of the first episode is them actually traversing the abyss, making it way down to the 5th layer and into the orb, the vessel that Riku, Reg, and Nanachi jumped into at the end of the movie. And as we transition from them jumping, we see Riku, Reg, and Nanachi. It's like a nice cut back to where that movie actually left off, and we see them go down the sea of corpses and eventually make it to the 6th layer. All in all, the first episode was way more horrific than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I know that this series it hits a certain niche, right? Like, it's putting chibis through horrific events. It's that juxtaposition between seeing something so cute yet going through something so fucking grueling, right? That's what Made in Abyss is. But to hit us with that in the first fucking episode with pedophilic rape and torture and just the warped sense of reality that these children have now, like, this is episode 1. This is episode fucking 1. Now on to episode 2. Now, episode 2, at least to me, has 2 distinct halves. The first one is what this series does best. Riku's party is traversing the 6th layer, and with every step they are discovering its bizarre eccentricities. The second half is where shit goes wrong. But first, we have to talk about the 6th layer. Like every single layer before it, we are just introduced to this whimsical, horrific wonderland of new creatures and peculiar abnormalities. I mean, is this an ancient building that has been swallowed up by the land itself, or did they build into their surrounding? It's fucking weird as we see Riku almost fall to her death through this building-like structure full of crystals. And if that wasn't enough, what about the beautifully animated giant spherical explosions of magma? Yes, if falling to your death was enough, how about being burned alive in lava? I mean, thank God Riku has Reg, right? It's truly a marvel to behold, but more than that, though, are the inhabitants, these creatures that populate the abyss. Here goes what's probably the worst pronunciation of today's video. The Turbinid Dragon, this giant seahorse, dragon, walking giraffe. Like, I don't even know how to fucking describe it. It's fucking awe-inspiring. And in a stark contrast, we have the Mizujak, whose derpiness is to the nth degree. My God, these things just look like fucking goobers. But lo and behold, they're the group's current food source. Simplicity aside, even those creatures are fucking weird. Kill them, boil them, fry them, and they still twitch all the way down. My God. This series world is utterly breathtaking. But we knew it was only a matter of time before shit hit the fan, and oh boy, howdy did it hit the fan. Now, even though our group took steps to make sure they were protected while they were sleeping, somehow something was able to not only circumvent Reg's extendable arm security, but also got past Nanachi's ability to sense the manipulation of, the Abyss's curse, this force field. And in doing so, they lost the newest member of their group, Prushka, the White Whistle. My God, it feels so fucking awkward to say that. Like, she was literally just a child. I mean, mere moments ago in the story, like, my God. But yes, with a letter with weird symbols, even though if you turn it upside down, it looks like one of them is scratched out and another child like stick figure is drawn in there. I'll probably put it up on the fucking screen. I don't think it's a malicious note. I think it's just, hey, I want to play with you guys type note. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but that's what it's looking to me. I mean, you can literally tell it's a fucking stick figure, yet the group thinks it's like, hey, like a fucking ransom letter, right? Like, hey, we got your fucking friend. And then when they start looking for it, the next step we see hair has been taken from them and shoved up and sewn up the ass of these weird creatures. And like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Of course, this inevitably leads them to another group of characters that seemingly speak both the tribal dialect as well as normal cave raiders, or whatever you want to call them, Japanese, or whatever the tongue is in this world, as they seem to be more of these misshapen Narihatas, or I assume they're hollows. Anyone who has been affected by the 6-layer curse, I'm assuming is so. But yeah, right now, shit is looking kind of bleak. We're in unknown terrain. Yes, Liza's notes are helping, but still, this is the 6th layer, and Prushka is missing, and now we come face to face with an unknown group of things? I mean, I can't necessarily call them people anymore, can I? Not to mention a mysterious figure has been watching them. So yeah, this is episode 2. Like I said, this series is just fucking wonderful. My God, like, this world is so fucking unique. And much like the Cave Raiders that have this desire to discover the abyss, right? I want to know what the fuck is at the bottom. Is Liza alive or dead? What the fuck is Reg? What the hell is the curse of the abyss? Can it be lifted? What the fuck was Bondrew talking about the next 2,000 years? Like, I mean, this series just has so much going on, it's ridiculous. Not to mention, it is just so goddamn beautiful. The aesthetics are fucking surreal, and season 2 came back with it. Not to mention, the soundtrack, my God, the fucking soundtrack. Rewatching season 1, as well as the 3rd movie, just reminded me how good the soundtrack is, how amazing the effects are. It's just, this series is phenomenal, and season 2 has brought that back. Overall, we are off to an amazing fucking start. But I'm curious, what did you guys think about episode 1 and episode 2 for season 2 of Made in Abyss? Did you hate them? Do you love them? Do you want some more of them? Well, I do. So with all that being said and more Made in Abyss around the corner, I cannot wait for future episodes.